Hello and welcome to Ystad with me, Woody. In today's video I'm going to give you a tour of my hometown and share with you some of my favourite places and highlights. We'll start the tour here in the harbour, which is where many of the visitors to Ystad and Sweden make their arrival. Ystad is located on the south coast of Sweden, and on the other side of the Baltic Sea to the south is Germany and Poland. There are two ferry operators going to Poland, Unity Line and Pole ferries. The trip takes about 6 hours and there are several crossings every day, although it does seem to me that it's mostly goods transport, a lot of lorries and perhaps not so many tourists. The Polish ferries are due for replacement, with the new ferries running on battery power when they travel in the harbour to reduce pollution and noise. There used to be a ferry service to Germany which I was looking forward to taking, but they've now left the town and relocated to nearby rivals Trelleborg, which is a bit of a blow to the town and community here. Catamarans depart for the small Danish island of Bornholm, and this is the only route for Danish citizens to get to their island territory. They take road, trains or buses from Copenhagen to Ystad and then a 1-hour crossing. Bornholm was in the news recently because it's close to the sabotaged Russian gas pipeline. There are dozens of crossings every day for thousands of passengers, cars and lorries heading to Bornholm. To meet the demand, Bornholms Linjen has just received the world's biggest passenger catamaran, called Express 5. That's quite a claim to fame and amazing considering the little island is just 600 square kilometres and with a population of 40,000 people. Talking of which, the population of Ystad is 30,000 if you were curious. The closest city is Malmö, which is about 45 minutes away by car or train. Copenhagen in Denmark is just another 15 minutes further away across the famous bridge. The harbour area, to be honest, is a little bit shabby and underutilised and could do with some development or a refresh. There are plans to move the ferries to jetties further out in the harbour and then construct modern housing, apartments and recreation spaces, but this probably won't happen for 10 to 15 years. The derelict grain silos are a famous landmark of Ystad. Many locals are very fond and nostalgic about these abandoned buildings and consider them quite attractive. I'm not so convinced myself. What do you think? Anyway, they are due to be demolished to make room for the development of luxury apartments. But first, they have to be sanitised as they are inhabited and infested with millions of rats. From here, let's head that way to the marina for the private boats and yachts. It's a lovely place to hang out for a couple of hours on a sunny day like this. And I'll also show you my absolute favourite place to go when there's a huge storm blowing. Here's where you can moor your boat here in the marina, or as it's called locally, Småbåtshamn, literally translated to the small boat harbour. Lots of guests sail over the Baltic Sea from Germany and the other countries on the coast of mainland Europe. From the sailing club we can head out to the Cold Bath Jetty, or Kallbadsbryggan. They were going to build an open sea public bathing house here, but it was stopped due to the expense and from complaints from the sailing club and concerns over the water quality. Still, they completed the pier and it's an excellent place to witness the waves rolling in during a massive storm. On the other side of the town beach, you can see some lovely beachfront properties. Now, normally you would expect luxury villas in such a prime location, but here they have built simple terraced houses. They are still quite expensive at about $400,000, but that's one heck of a nice view, and it's very close to the town centre and marina. The area is called Ystad, and I think in the past it was an industrial area used for cement construction. Okay, from here let's head that way into the old town, where I can show you some quaint architecture, a monastery perhaps, and a church or something. From here, I'd like to show you the town centre and the main street. So let's head over there now. There won't be much going on because it's a Sunday and everything is closed. But let's go and have a look anyway. Let's continue eastwards over there and I'll take you to the old military barracks area that was decommissioned a couple of years ago and has been converted now into luxury apartments, offices, gyms, but also a very famous film studio. So here are the converted military barracks. You'll see schools, gyms, and some nice apartments as well. But the most famous thing here is Eastad Studios. Now, you've probably heard of or seen the TV series Wallander, about crimes that happen in or around Ystad. It would have you believe that many hundreds of people have in fact been murdered in the town, which is not the case, happily. The whole show is filmed here in Ystad and in these studios here, which are also converted from old military buildings. It's still an active studio today for TV and movie work. You can hire a studio. But there's also a museum and a visitors centre if you just want to come, visit and learn more about Wallander and film production. There's a lot of fun activities for the whole family. You can, for example, make your own green screen film. There's also a military museum, but I've yet to visit that. It always seems to be closed when I go by. Unfortunately, the visitor centre is closed today, otherwise I would have shown you around. So instead, let's head over to the mysteriously named Forest of Sand, and then we'll head on to the beach. Welcome to the main beach here in Ystad. It's a little bit cool today, even though it's sunny, so the locals are staying away, but the only people having a dip in the sea today are some tourists that are probably staying in the spa that's over there. So let's have a look around. The water is always very, very cold down here as well. It's never pleasant, even in the middle of the summer. So yeah, respect to these guys and girls. It might seem hard to believe because it's deserted on a beautiful sunny day, but this place can get really packed during the summer months of July and August with the locals and tourists from all over Sweden and even the rest of Europe. The beaches here, I'm happy to say, are very unspoilt and undeveloped. They are made up mainly of sandy dunes. They are not exploited or developed, and there are very few beachfront properties. You won't find shops selling tourist junk here, fortunately. At the weekends they can get pretty busy during the summer with locals and visitors from all over Sweden, plus lots of tourists from abroad. The piers are fun to jump in from, but be careful because the water is quite shallow and it's always surprisingly cold. Rarely getting above 18 degrees in the water, even in the middle and the end of the summer. I also should mention that there is often a great deal of dead seaweed washed up on the beach, and during some months in the summer, the coast can get a certain unpleasant stink. I've done a separate video all about the fascinating history of these World War II military bunkers. So you can watch that if you're curious. I'll leave a link in the description. These funny looking beach huts are used by their owners to get changed and for storing towels, sun loungers and so on. There's no electricity or running water, so you can't really make a cup of tea or anything. When we first arrived here, we assumed that a crane would come and lift them over from the forest over to the beach, but that's not the case. These are permanently based in the forest along the side of the promenade here. You can buy a permanent lease for one of these for about $30,000. With the current interest rates, that works out to about $100 a month to use one of these. And you get about 5 square meters of space. Nevertheless, they seem to be quite sought after and are probably a good investment. Don't come to me for financial advice. Sadly, there's not really much sea life either. The Baltic is one of the most polluted and dead seas in the world due to industrial and agricultural pollution from the lands bordering the sea, mainly over to the east. Overfishing has also been a major problem over the years. And with that, we are almost back to where we started. The harbour area is just a short walk away to the west. Well, that concludes my tour of Ystad. I love it down here and I'm proud to call it my hometown. I hope you enjoyed the video too. See you later. Cheerio.